Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Dhyani Classes. If you are watching my video for the first time, do subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever new video will be uploaded. So in today's video we will cover the third part of the chapter, The Proposal, written by Anton Chekhov from class 10th CBSE. So let's get started. So in the second part of the chapter we have seen how Lomov and the father of Natalia is arguing and fighting and calling each other by names, and then Chuvkov, the father of the girl, is telling a man Lomov that your grandfather used to drink a lot and at the same time your aunt ran away with an architect. And then in reply Lomov is telling Chuvkov that your mother was humpbacked, that means she was looking very ugly and all. And then again Lomov feels palpitations and holding his heart by hand and wants to drink some water. So still both of them started abusing and arguing with each other and just forgetting all about the land. So let's look at the third part of the chapter with line by line explanation now. Chuvkov, your father was guzzling gambler. So again Chuvkov started telling something about his father, that your father was guzzling gambler. That means he keeps gambling. That means he never cared about the money and used to drink a lot and does not think about gain and loss. So he keeps gambling throughout the day. And then Natalia, and there haven't been many backbiters to equal your aunt. So immediately Natalia is telling him that your aunt was also a backbiter. That means a person who talks at the back. So his aunt used to backbiting all the time. And then Chuvkov, my left foot has gone to sleep. You are an intriguer, oh my heart. So here Chuvkov is saying my left foot has gone to sleep, or he feels that his leg has become numb. And then he is calling Lomov intriguer. That means a person who makes hateful plans for others. And then he says, oh my heart. So his heart was beating irregularly because he is very angry, and at the same time Lomov is also making him irritated and says, and it's an open secret that before the last elections you breathe, I can see stars. Where is my heart? So he wanted to tell something to Lomov, but due to his heartbeat he is not able to say something, and then he forgot all about, and then he is looking for his hat. And then Natalia, it's low, it's dishonest, it's mean. So Natalia is also telling Lomov that it's low. That means his thinking is very poor and he is a dishonest person. And then then she says it's mean. That means he is very ugly and cruel, and he has very low character in his life because he does not know how to respect elders and abusing them. Then Chuvkov, and you are just a malicious double-faced intriguer. Yes. So again Chuvkov started telling him that you are just a malicious double-faced intriguer. That means you are a dangerous ill planner, and you are the one having two faces, and the one who has one face in front of the people and another bad face behind people. And then Lomov, here is my hat, my heart, which way, where is the door? Oh, I think I am dying, my foot's quite numb, goes to the door. So Lomov is also suffering from palpitations, and he looked at his hat and picked up his hat, and then his heart was beating heavily and says, where is the door? That means he wanted to escape from the house and searching the door and saying my foot's quite numb. That means he feels that there is no movement on his feet, and then he is going towards the door. And then Chuvkov following him, and don't set foot in my house again. So he is telling Lomov that don't set foot in my house again. That means don't come to my house again, because now he dislikes him very much and doesn't want to see him to come his house. Then Natalia, take it to court, we'll see. Lomov staggers out. So immediately Natalia is telling him that to take it to court. That means I'll see you in the court. And then Lomov started coming out of the house with great difficulties because he feels his foot is numb, and he started walking towards the door with great difficulties. And then Chuvkov, devil take him. So Chuvkov is also very angry and wants the devil to take him away because of this argument that took place inside the house. And then Natalia, what a rascal, what trust can one have in one's neighbors after that? So she is calling Lomov a rascal, and she is also saying that after this incident she never believes in neighbors after that, and saying how one can believe one's neighbors. And then Chuvkov, the villain, the scarecrow. So again Chuvkov calling him the villain, that means cruel, malicious, and also calling him scarecrow. That means a person who is very badly dressed or looks very odd or scary. And then Natalia, the monster, first he takes our land and then he has the impudence to abuse us. So Natalia also calling him the monster, that means a large and ugly looking man, and saying first he takes our land and then he has the impudence to abuse us. So she is saying that this fellow first takes our land by telling that these meadows are mine, and then he is showing his smartless or shameless behavior and abusing us and shouting and calling them names. Then Chupkov, and that blind hen, yes, that turnip ghost has the confounded cheek to make a proposal, and so on. So here Chupkov is calling Lomo blind hen, that means find something even it is not clear to see. So earlier Chupkov was not able to see the real picture of Lomov, how he behaves with others, and says yes, that turnip ghost has the confounded cheek to make a proposal, that means he never showed his second face in front of them, and how annoyed he is, and then he is trying to make a proposal, and then Chupkov exclaims, what a proposal. So the father is amazed to see him how he is making a proposal by just fighting and arguing and abusing and calling them names and all. So for the first time, what proposal has come out of his mouth, and then Natalia, what proposal? So here Natalia is asking her father that what proposal, that means she is asking her father that what kind of proposal are you talking about, and then Chupkov, why he came here to propose to you. So the father is telling her that this boy has come here to propose to you, and then she became very surprised, and then Natalia, to propose to me, why didn't you tell me so before? So she is asking her father, why didn't you tell me so before, that means why didn't you tell me he has come here to propose to me, and why you didn't inform me before the argument or fightings. Then Chupkov, so he dressed up in evening clothes, the stuffed sausage, the Vijan-faced tramp. So here Chupkov is very angry and telling his daughter that he dressed up in evening clothes, that means he has come here to propose to you, and that's why he was wearing an evening dress, and says the stuffed sausage, the Vijan-faced tramp. So again Chupkov insulting Lomo by calling Vijan-faced tramp, that means a person with shrunken face with pimples, and saying this man has an ugly face and dared to come here to dress up just to propose to you. And then Natalia, to propose to me, falls into an easy chair and wails, bring him back, bring him here. So immediately Natalia starts crying and exclaiming, oh, to propose to me, because she understood that he had actually came here to propose to me. And then she is telling her father to bring him back, that means she wants the father to bring Lomov back, because when she heard all this, Lomov has left her house or left from her house, and then she starts crying and telling the father to bring him back, and then Chupkov, bring whom here. So immediately the father is asking her to bring whom here, that means are you talking about the man who just argued with us? And then Natalia, quick, I'm ill, fetch him, his tricks. So Natalia is crying and telling the father to fetch him, that means to bring him back as soon as possible, without otherwise I'll be sick. That means she gets emotional and she's crying, and she wants her father to bring him back to her house, because she understood why Lomov has come there. Then Chupkov, what's that? What's the matter with you? Clutches at his head. Oh, unhappy man that I am. I'll shoot myself. I'll hang myself. We have done for her. So here Chupkov is feeling very disappointed because his daughter is crying and asking him bring him back. And then he says, what's that? What's the matter with you? That means why are you calling him back? And what are you talking about? And then he clutches his hand and he feels that and he is cursing himself by telling that he is an unlucky man, and telling I'll shoot myself, that means I will kill myself, because it is an embarrassing moment for the father to bring Lomov back, because he has already threatened him not to come to his house going forward and all. And then Natalia, I'm dying, fetch him. So again Natalia is saying that I'm dying, that means I'm going to die and I want to see Lomov, and telling the father to fetch him back, and that means bring him back as soon as possible, while crying. And then Chupkov, to foe at once, don't yell, runs out a pause. So finally her father is ready to bring him back and tells her to stop crying first and don't shout, and I'm going there and I will bring him back immediately. Then Natalia Stepanovna wails. So again she starts crying bitterly because she wants Lomov back to her house, and says, what have they done to me? Fetch him back, fetch him. A pause. Chupkov runs in. So she just keep crying and shouting at her father to bring him back immediately and pressurizing the father to fetch him back. And then Chivkov start running towards Lomov's house to bring him back. And then Chivkov, he is coming and so on. They will take him off. Talk to him yourself. I don't want to. So after a few moments, Chubkov comes back and tells her that he is coming and he is ready to talk to you. And at the same time, he is also exclaiming, they will take him, and saying, talk to him yourself. But I will not talk to him anymore because he is angry with Lomov and dislike him very much. And then Natalia wails, fetch him. So she is continue to cry, and she is saying that just bring him back. Then Chivkov yells, he is coming, I'll tell you. Oh, what a burden, Lord, to be the father of grown-up daughter. So here Chivkov starts yelling and telling Natalia that he is coming soon here, and feels so irritated because he was the one who had argued and sent him away from his house. And now he is requesting the man to come back to his house just because of his daughter, and saying, oh Lord, what a burden to the father of grown-up daughter. And says, I'll cut my throat, I will indeed. That means I will kill myself, because he is feeling so embarrassed because first he sent Lomov away and then now he is requesting him to come back to his house, and says, we cursed him, abused him, drove him out, and it's all you. So now he is telling something to his daughter that we cursed him and abused him. That means we both, the father and the daughter, shouting at him earlier and trying to blame each other for sending him out of the house even though he was suffering from palpitations. And says, Natalia, no, it was you, Chivkov. I'll tell you, it's not my fault. Lomov appears at the door. Now you talk to him yourself. So again Natalia is saying, no, it was you. That means you are the one who sent him out of the house. And then in reply Chivkov is saying, I'll tell you, it's not my fault. That means I didn't send him back, and you are the one who abused him, cursed him, and that's why he went out of the house. And then Lomov appears at the door. That means Lomov comes inside the Chivkov's house, and then he is telling her daughter that now he is here and you can talk to him by yourself, whatever you want. Then Lomov enters exhausted. So now Lomov enters inside the house and he is exhausted. That means he is feeling tired just because of the palpitations, and saying, my heart's palpitating awfully, my foot's gone to sleep, there is something that keeps pulling in my side. So still he is suffering from palpitations and says, my foot's gone to sleep. That means he feels that his one leg is pulling down and his leg is also numb, and feels he might be fell down, and saying, there is something that keeps pulling in my side. That means he feels no energy inside of his body. And then Natalia, forgive us, Ivan Vasilevich, we were all a little hated. I remember now, Oxen Meadows really are yours. So Natalia is saying, forgive us. That means we are really sorry whatever we have done, Ivan Vasilevich. And says, we were all a little hated. That means we at that time we were angry and lost control just because of we were in an argument, and now I understood that Oxen Meadows really are yours. So she is telling him that yes, I can remember that Oxen Meadows are yours, not ours, and the land belongs to you only. And then Lomov, my heart's beating awfully, my meadows, my eyebrows are both twitching. So here, hearing Natalia, Lomov is feeling very happy and excited once again, and saying, my heart's beating awfully. That means his heart is beating very fast just because of the palpitations, and saying, my meadows. So he is quite satisfied that yes, Oxen Meadows belongs to me, and says, my eyebrows are both twitching. So he is feeling some kind of movement in his eyebrows. That means his eyebrow is moving up and down. Then Natalia, the meadows are yours. Yes, yours. Do sit down. They sit. We were wrong. So again Natalia is telling him that meadows are yours. Yes, yours. So she is giving him assurance that yes, I knew that the land belongs to you, and requesting him to sit down because he was not feeling comfortable due to palpitations. And then both of them sat down, and then she is telling him that we were wrong. That means unnecessarily we were in fighting, and we were wrong in telling that the land belongs to us. And then Lomov, I did it on principle. My land is worth little to me, but the principle. So Lomov is saying that I did it on principle. That means whatever I was telling you was fact, because I have enough documents to prove that the land belongs to me, and says my land is worth little to me but the principal. That means though the land is not too much costly, but still I go by principles. And then Natalia, yes, the principal, just so. Now let's talk of something else. So now she is saying that yes, the principal, that means yes, you are right, you are telling facts. And now she does not want to discuss about the land anymore, and telling him to let's not discuss this topic and let's talk about something else. And then Lomov, the more so as I have evidence, my aunt's grandmother gave the land to your father's grandfather's peasants. So again Lomov is telling the same story about the ownership of the land, and telling that the more so as I have evidence, that means I have a sufficient written document that will prove that the land belongs to me, and saying my aunt's grandmother gave the land to your father's grandfather's peasants. So he is trying to tell the whole story of how her father's grandfather's peasants were using the land, and his aunt's grandmother gave the land for free use and all. Then Natalia, yes, let that pass aside. I wish I knew how to get him started aloud. Are you going to start shooting soon? So here Natalia is saying that yes, let that pass. That means she is telling yes, this is true, whatever you are telling, and just let's not discuss this topic, because she already told him that the land belongs to you, and says I wish I knew how to get him started. That means she is thinking that she should have known how to talk to him in a nice way. And then she is asking him, are you going to start shooting soon? That means if he is going for hunting outside. And then Lomov, I am thinking of having a go at the black cock on Natalia Stefanovna after the harvest. So in reply, Lomov is saying that I am thinking of having a go at the black cock. That means he wants to hunt black cock, but after the harvest, not now. And saying, oh, have you heard? Just think what a misfortune I have had. My dog Guess, who you know, has gone lame. So here Lomov starts telling her something about his dog Guess, that have you heard what a misfortune I have had. That means he wants to tell her something about his bad luck, or something bad had happened with him, very strange. And saying my dog Guess, who you know, has gone lame. So he is telling her that his dog has gone lame. That means there is some problem with his legs and he is not able to walk properly. So he is feeling very bad that his dog Guess has gone lame. Then Natalia, what a pity, why? So Natalia is very sad after hearing Lomov and asking him what happened with the dog, and it is very sad to hear that. And then Lomov, I don't know, must have got his leg twisted or bitten by some other dog. So Lomov is telling her that I don't know what happened with him, and says must have got his leg twisted, or he may be suffering from a disease that made his leg twisted, or maybe some other dog might have bit him, but I don't know exactly what had happened with him. And then he sighs, my very best dog, do say nothing of the expense. I gave Mirinov 125 rubles for him. So here he is telling Natalia that this is my very best dog and he really likes him, and saying I gave Mirinov 125 rubles for him. So what is Mirinov here? Mirinov is a dog seller, and saying he bought the dog for 125 rubles. So somehow he is telling or trying to tell Natalia that my dog is very expensive. And then Natalia, it was too much, Ivan Vasilevich. Then Lomov, I think it was very cheap. He is a first-rate dog. So immediately Natalia is saying it was too much. That means you paid a high price for the dog, Ivan Vasilevich. And then Lomov replies that I think it was very cheap and he is a first-rate dog. That means paying for the dog 125 rubles is nothing for me. But yes, I can say I bought the first-rate dog. That means the best quality dog. So here he is showing some gesture that he is wealthy man, because 125 rubles are nothing for him. Then Natalia, Papa gave 85 rubles for his squeezer, and squeezer is hips better than Guess. So here Natalia also telling him something about her dog and saying Papa gave 85 rubles for his squeezer. That means her father bought the dog called squeezer in just 85 rubles, and says squeezer is hips better than Guess. That means her dog squeezer is much better than his dog Guess. So from here both of them started arguing and telling each other that my dog is much better than yours and all. And then Lomov, squeezer better than Guess, what an idea, laughs, squeezer better than Guess. So immediately Lomov starts laughing and asking her that squeezer is much better than Guess. That means what are you talking about, and telling her that what an idea, and exclaiming again that squeezer is much better than Guess. So he feels that how can you say that her dog is much better than his dog Guess, because he paid a high price for the dog that is much higher than the money her father paid for squeezer. And then Natalia, Of course, he is better. Of course, Squeezer is young and he may develop a bit, but on point and pedigree, he is better than anything that even Volsnily has got. So here Natalie is also exclaiming that of course he is better. That means my dog is much better than yours, and saying Squeezer is young and he may develop a bit. That means he is very strong than your dog, and still he has to grow and develop even in terms of pedigree. So what do you mean by pedigree? That means dynasty or bloodline. So as per her dog Squeezer is pure breed of its ancestors, and saying he is much better than anything that even Volchansky has got. That means it is the best dog, and even he was the best dog in a pet shop. So Volchansky is the name of the dog seller and is known as a very prominent dog seller. Then Lomov, excuse me Natalia Stefanovna, but you forgot that he is overshot, and an overshot always means the dog is a bad hunter. So immediately Lomov is saying, excuse me Natalia Stefanovna, that means he wants to say something to her about his dog, and says, but you forget that he is overshot. That means her dog has a long and broad jaw, and he feels that the dog is bad hunter, or he cannot hunt as compared to his dog Guess. So both of them started fighting and arguing and telling about my dog is good or your dog is bad and all. And then Natalia, overshot is he? The first time I hear it. So in reply she is telling Lomov that overshot is he. That means she is telling him that are you talking about my dog's jaw, and it has a long jaw, and says the first time I heard it. That means I am hearing a word called overshot for the first time. And then Lomov, I assure you that his lower jaw is shorter than the upper. So Lomov is explaining the meaning of overshot and saying that your dog's lower jaw is shorter than the upper jaw. Then Natalia, have you measured? So she is telling him, have you measured? That means have you checked my dog's jaw by yourself? Or how can you say that like this? And did you measure for this my dog? And then Lomov, yes, he is alright at following, of course, but if you want to get hold of anything. So Lomov is telling her that your dog is good at following or chasing something, but then he is also trying to explain to her that he will not be able to hunt or eat properly. And then Natalia, in the first place, our Squeezer is a thoroughbred animal, the son of harness and chisels, while there is no getting at the pedigree of your dog at all. So Natalia is trying to explain to him that about her dog named Squeezer, that he is a thoroughbred animal. That means he is a pure breed of harness and chisels dog, and telling that this is recommended and people love this dog and all, and saying there is no getting at the pedigree of your dog at all. That means you can't find old breed or ancestor of your dog, but when it comes to my dog, you can find its breed easily in the pet shops. And says he is old and as ugly as a worn out cab horse. So she is telling him that your dog is old and ugly looking and worn out cab horse. That means your dog is looking very lethargic and weak, and he is not able to move or run faster than my dog Squeezer. So she is telling that I guess that is Lomov's dog is very old and ugly looking and very tired looking as well. Then Lomov, he is old, but I wouldn't take 5 Squeezers for him. So here immediately Lomov is telling her in reply that yes, my dog is old, but I wouldn't take 5 Squeezers for him. That means he can't give anybody my dog, even if you give me 5 Squeezers. That means he can't replace his dog at any cost, and I will not give my dog to anybody, because he likes the dog very much and don't want to lose his dog Guess. And says, why, how can you? Guess is a dog. As for Squeezer, well, it's too funny to argue. So here he is saying that why are you saying like this about my dog and all, and how can you say that Squeezer is much better than my dog Guess, and saying that there is no comparison between Guess and Squeezer, and it is so funny to talk about like this, as the dog Guess is much better than the dog Squeezer. And says anybody you like has a dog as good as Squeezer. You may find them under every bus almost. So here he is telling that there are many people who have the dog as good as Squeezer, and you can find these dogs everywhere, and these dogs are much better than your dog. And says 25 rubles would be a handsome price to pay for him. So here in reply, or in a funny manner, he is telling her that I think 25 rubles is enough for Squeezer because of its quality, but when it comes to Guess, it costs a lot and as compared to your dog. And saying Squeezer is very common and simple dog, and most of them would like a dog like Squeezer, and it's easy to pay 25 rubles for squeezer. Then Natalia, there is some demand of contradiction in you today, Ivan Vasilevich. So here she is telling him that there is some demand of contradiction in you today. That means you are behaving in a very strange way today, and you are continuously arguing today and saying there is some demon. That means a ghost or evil spirit is inside you, which is making you angry and annoyed. And says first you pretend that the meadows are yours. Now that guess is better than squeezer. So here she is also telling him that first you pretend that the meadows are yours. That means first you are arguing that the oxen meadows are yours, and then your dog guess is better than my squeezer, and says I don't like people who don't say what they mean, because you know perfectly well that squeezer is 100 times better than your silly guess. So again she is telling Lomov that I don't like people who favors themselves of their things only, because they feel that whatever they have is much better than others, just like Lomov feels that his dog is much better than her dog Squeezer. And then she is making a point that you know very well my dog Squeezer is 100 times better than your silly guess. That means my dog is much better than your dog, and says why do you want to say he isn't? So again she is asking him that why do you want to say he isn't? That means she wants to hear from Lomo by saying that yes, your dog Squeezer is much better than his dog Guess. So this is the end of the third part of the chapter, The Proposal, written by Anton Chekhov. Let's look at the fourth part of the chapter in my next video. For more informative videos, do subscribe my channel, hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever new video will be uploaded. So thank you so much for watching once again. Stay safe, stay healthy.